please bring the house down actually, put your hands together, please give a massive warm welcome for Ionela, Titirez. The stage is yours.
And thank you very much. I'm so humbled and honored to be here in front of you, and especially for such kind words and warm introduction. I'm really happy that this event grown so big. And yes, I started advocating for startup culture when I had a lot of explaining to do, including to the donors of the project I was in. They were like, why do you have to do that? And even we had once a conversation with the person representing IBM, whom we were trying to recruit as a partner in this journey of building the tech ecosystem and the startup ecosystem. And he asked me, he was from Israel, and he was kind of a very direct person, a little bit on the direct aggressive side. So he was like, why do you think Moldova can build startups? You have nothing here. Why are you even thinking about it? And I was like, well, nobody forbids us to hope that we can. And he was like, you know what, for hope you go to church. It was not funny. Okay. Can we get the chairs for my panelists? Eugene set the bar very high with this success story that he just presented. And if there were a possibility to ask questions from the audience, I would ask him what did his wife feel when he had to solve the house with 2 small kids and put all the money in the business. But imagine how he believed in this business, how he believed in himself and in his team, that this will pay off, and it did. And it did, not just 10 times. It paid off a lot. And we have some other inspiring founders here from the region that are still in their journey to grow, but have achieved already a certain level that many of us here in the room can learn from. So I would like to welcome on this stage, starting with the ladies, Anna Robakidze from Georgia, the founder of Theneo. Katerina Ryabo from Ukraine, currently based in Poland, the founder of Hydratico. Vladimir Readiboi from Moldova, the founder of Gardi.me. And another founder from Georgia, which I just recruited an hour ago because I had to have 2 Armenians in the panel and their flight was cancelled. So very sorry not to have Armenia represented at this summit. We promise to do a better job next year with the airlines. We will get them 1 week before. So the next entrepreneur and investor and ecosystem builder from Georgia, Guri Koyava. I would like us to start by letting our panelists talk about themselves, introduce themselves, their journey, and what inspired them to start the business that they did. The one that they are working on now. Let's say you have multiple, but let's focus on just one that is closer to your heart or that is the most successful of yours.
I'll start. First of all, very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to see all the startup ecosystem here, and excitement reminds me a lot also about Georgia. So I'm originally from Georgia. I moved to US when I was very young, studied there, but during pandemic moved back to Georgia. and started a startup in API management, particularly in API documentation. And I didn't expect that my startup journey would start in Georgia, actually. That was the last place because, you know, I was in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, New York. You would expect that's where I would start my journey. But it started in Georgia, and I didn't expect that in such a small country, I would get so much support versus in, you know, San Francisco, New York, it's so crowded. And it goes back to like here in Moldova, how much actually being in a small country is so much better because you get so much support. We ended up, we are a US Georgian company, so we ended up getting into Y Combinator, moving there, and now we have over 15,000 companies globally that use us, from very well-known names, Ticketmaster, to stock exchanges, to banks. And some of the biggest names, it's when I think about it, the team behind it is just Gen Zs from Georgia that are powering this tool that is used by hundreds of thousands of users globally. And what motivated me quickly is that I was fortunate to be API nerd, and I was frustrated about the problem, and I decided to solve it.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. I'm Katerina Ryabo. Don't believe the poster. I'm the right person. I'm Katerina Ryabo. So I'm happy to be here. I'm loving the dynamics of this summit and the previous panels, learning a lot. As we say, live and learn. And I think that this is part of my journey. I'm living and learning. So now I am a co-founder of Hydratico. Hydratico is a Ukraine-born technology of water desalination and water treatment based on patented supercavitation method. What we want to do, we want to break the barrier. This market has not been disrupted for decades, and we are bringing the new technology to the market. So we are moving really fast. We've incorporated in Poland in 2022, just in 1 month after the full-scale invasion. And we are now TRL 6. By the end of this year, we will achieve TRL 8, knock on wood. The inspiration for me actually comes from my previous work and engagement. I'm more focused on social impact. And when we talk about water, you know, how much social impact that resource can have. Water is a security issue. Water is a crucial resource that we very often take for granted. So if I paraphrase, I was in a different conference recently, and I actually asked a question, and the response I heard was really scary. They said, well, we're probably not going to run out of water in our lifetime, but we may run out of clean water in our lifetime. So that creates an urgency that actually keeps me moving, working 12-hour days, and also taking a lot of pro bono work, because a lot was said today that paying back to the community is important, and I think that this is also key for any company, for any young company. Having a social impact, finding that balance between building a profitable business and paying back to the community. Thank you.
Thanks for having me here. As you can read my surname, I am very easygoing. So, yeah, always ready. So when I met that problem of not being able to call help, I decided to fix it. I was too naive to think that I will somehow get an app, give it as a gift to police, and they will take it from there, and I can do my job. That was 8 years ago, and we launched the second country, launching the third country, but still didn't launch the police. But we are still on the hope that we'll launch it somewhere, and every citizen can just push a button and then sends all his information somewhere. Maybe you think that you don't need it, but think of your relatives that may need it, and then, like, when we're talking with our clients and they said, no, probably nothing will happen to me, what about your relatives? Oh, that's a problem. So they need it. So that's what brings me here in this chair, and thank you for having me. I really thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for recruiting me on the stage. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to represent Armenian chair, my neighbors. A big respect, they are good at tech and innovation. I accidentally ended up in innovation and tech ecosystem because I worked, when I came back to Georgia after studying and living in Latvia, my second country, I was recruited to the agency of tourism. So my mission was to co-develop with my colleagues the tourism industry in the country. Then I was offered to move to the team that was organizing the big music festivals in the country, largest from 2014 till 2017. We were organizing large music festival, bringing all the big stars, DJs. By that time, so I was the guy with the suit and the tie. Then I ended up on the Black Sea with the shorts and the t-shirt. And in 2017, we failed with a couple of $1 million minus as a festival. So in early 2018, I decided to move to the innovation and tech ecosystem. Since then, I'm staying in this industry, in this ecosystem. I never thought of changing it. So how I was making decisions. So for example, in Georgia, there was not business angel network. So one day, me and my partners decided to create it. Okay, we met, we drew the picture, and we started working on it. And the same on Startup Bureau, my another organization that's a community builder, event organizer. We decided it and we made it. And so on and so on. So this is my little entrepreneurial journey. I'm not, unfortunately, building unicorn. I'm staying as a community builder and building organizations that help ecosystems and the founders that they build the unicorns. So I'm really happy where I am now. And again, the history is coming back. So on June 2022, I'm co-organizing the largest tech conference in Georgia. If you are free, if you are willing to, there is a direct flight, so visit us in Tbilisi.
Super. This is actually very interesting. So on this side, we are on the support side of the ecosystem, and you are the founders. So let me ask you, the founders, the question, how important for you was the support ecosystem? How did you feel that you benefited of it, the local and the international one?
I'll answer that. So I forgot to mention that my background is in engineering, so I'm not this, pro pitching and business person whatsoever. So when I started my startup as a kind of side project, someone told me to apply to this local program in Georgia. And I was like, no one would know about APIs. I don't think I should, but I was like, okay, whatever, I'll do it. Turns out they knew a lot about APIs. And when I started talking, they were like, you know what, you're not doing a great job of pitching. Let me do it for you. And they pitched the startup in a way that I was like, oh, wow, this could actually be a big startup. This could be a unicorn. I didn't really believe in myself. I looked at it more as a product. So the support that I got where these people were pushing me and telling me that I can be way bigger than I actually imagined. I have never had this type of experience, again, back in US, because there are so many startups, there are so many people, you are not getting the same support. So this support that I got in Georgia and different pitches that I started doing, which, by the way, I was horrible in the beginning. Then I ended up winning Startup World Cup in Georgia. Then I went to TechCrunch Disrupt. And then I ended up winning the biggest tech conference in Europe, Web Summit. So it started off in Georgia. If I didn't do it, and if I didn't get that support from the community, I would not have ended up where I am today. So I am very thankful of the community. I'm always looking at also how to give back. So yeah.
Super, thank you very much. Let's check the audience. Is there anyone feeling a little bit like Anna is? Thankful for the support of the local community? Just 1, 2, 3? Okay, I thought we should not. Okay, they're shy. Yes, Katerina, go on.
Thank you. Yes, well, congratulations. Winning the Web Summit pitch competition is a big deal, so congratulations, Anna. I absolutely agree. Having support and generally the support system is incredibly important, not only for startups, but any new organization, any new entity. And especially when you go and grow internationally and go into the new markets, it's very important to understand and realize that you are not going alone. Because that, like if you're gonna go along, your journey will be much longer. Yeah, you're missing out on a lot of partnerships, and honestly, your budget would have to triple. The support of the ecosystem doesn't only give you the possibility to find local partners, the opportunity to get some possibly non-dilutive funding and retain your equity control over your company, right? Which is incredibly important, but also to shorten that market entry. What we've been doing actually from the day one, and I don't remember who said it in one of the previous sessions, that you have to think global from the day one of your existence. And I cannot agree more, because, my personal feeling was after the first year of being a co-founder, and before that I was working for another tech company as a chief strategy officer. And chief strategy officers are actually very boring people. They plan and then they execute, and then they will tell you that hope is not a strategy. So I'm one of those people. So before becoming a co-founder, I was more like, okay, well, think ahead, 5 years, 10 years, business plans, strategies, execution. And then, when I became a co-founder myself, I realized that, well, sometimes you're in the mode of catching up, and that's okay. But in order to get out of that mode, it's also incredibly important. Get out of the mode of catching up. Be ahead of time. And this is why the ecosystems are always helpful. They actually allow you to stay current, to stay present, and sometimes not only be strategic in your market entries or on your, on your, let's say, go-to-market strategy or the pitching skills, but also, on allowing you to grow faster, because this is what startups are all about, right? And I cannot agree more with Anna on the pitching. I can tell you that now our company is in the version 102 of our pitch, and we are still working on it.
Wow, 102 versions.
Perfection is endless.
What about you, Vladimir?
Yeah, if you will someday found a community for -$1 million, please invite me. I'll be your first member. It's some anonymous community, we're sitting in a circle and okay, I lost one. Okay. So I have a bit maybe opposite opinion about community and networks, and with all the respect.
Opinion or experience?
Opinion, because we were backed up by all communities, investors, and everyone backed us and helped us. And the complacency is, I think, the deadliest problem in any organization. So I think that help and support should be on a certain level, but you should dive yourself. You should understand that you are jumping from that cliff and no one will help you. So then you will think twice, triple, quadruple.
And learn to fly first before you jump, right?
Yeah.
Or grow wings.
Yeah. So thanks to all the help, backup, and support, but I think that a lot of responsibility should be still on the founder and on the team.
I think by this moment everybody got that already. It was repeated just in the first half day, I think at least 5 times, that execution is on your side. No accelerator is going to do the job for you.
And responsibility. Execution
Yes.
is
complete responsibility, and maybe some risks get shared, but just to a certain level. Back to you, Guri. What made you fall in love with this community, with this ecosystem, with this subject of startups and innovation? You coming from a different community, different field.
My previous community before this community was, as I said, music festivals, ravers, lots of party people, so it's completely different. And here is like lots of talent, knowledge, like cleanness, amazing ideas, lots of networking events, big events, small events. Like the global community is having a really, really nice movement going on. And yeah, I mean, it didn't let me go anywhere else. So I'm staying as a like global community. What I decided in myself is like, it's not only like if you are from Moldova or if you are from Georgia. I am no longer saying I'm like community builder from Georgia, because now what I'm trying, and the first showcase will be in Tbilisi, is to represent the region, which means in Georgian case it's South Caucasus and Central Asia. So I'll be trying to bringing everybody together in 3 days, and startups from Kazakhstan, from Uzbekistan, from Armenia, investors, VC funds, so on. So I mean, this community is that you can never say goodbye, or you know, it's all the time ongoing. It's a really big movement around Europe, the globe. I don't know, in a month I'm going to Latin America with the same mission to speak on the stage. So, I mean, yes, I'm a little bit poisoned. Maybe forever I will stay and serve. And also, like, you are getting lots of benefits. Yeah.
Okay. That was on the positive side, but let us step few steps back and try to discuss your beginning. Anna, for example, you have over 14,000 companies and users in 100 countries. This is now, but how was it to get your first 100?
It's always hardest to get the first customer, first 10, then first 100, and then things get a little bit easier. But because I built this product essentially for myself to make my life easier as an engineer, the first thing that I was my first user. I shared it with my friends. I put it out there and was like, go ahead and use it.
For free?
Yeah, for free. And I had people signing up just randomly. I didn't know, and they were reaching out, and they were asking if we had an enterprise version. And I was telling, this is not even a legal entity. This is not a company, but thank you. So in early days, I just concentrated more on product. I didn't care about pricing. I didn't care about the business model, go-to-market. I didn't know what go-to-market strategy was at all. I cared about the product. And because this is the users are my people, I know them really well, the connection was very easy. So then afterwards, to be honest, we had, I would say, a little bit of lucky trajectory in a way that we got into Y Combinator that has very huge following in the US. So when you launch inside and you have this like Airbnb, Dropbox, like these huge names that, you get their attention, and then you have the public launches, and so there was a lot of things that when I look at it, it was just not one thing, but it was kind of like the dots and things how it connected, where it got to where it is today, and most of it has been organic growth. But I would say for us, the most important thing was being obsessed about our product and being our own users. That's how we got it today.
Cool, thank you. Vladimir, can you share your story about the first customers? Very sad about the police, though. I think it would be useful for them to have something like that.
It will be, don't
Maybe
worry.
they would react faster.
No, they will react faster. They are working and doing a great job already. So we are like partners and colleagues, so I will not spell any bad word about them. We'll help them. Like, they're not producing their cars or guns, they're buying it, we're the same instrument for them. But for the first user, I remember the night before we launched it on 1st December 2020, I called our advertising guy and said to him, please, the smallest volume that you can set for the advertising, like the smallest, because if there will be
€5?
I don't remember the numbers, but like the smallest, because if we are not, we build it for a few years, but you know, like if there will be a lot of users, so like maybe we need to, that smile, On 1st December 2020, I entered the office, like push the F5 to refresh the page and 0, and I like, did you like turn it on? Yeah. The first one came in, I think, in few weeks, and we literally gathered all office, put on the speaker, called him and said, how did you manage? We were like spending money few weeks, like on a full gas, and no one came in. How did you manage to did it till then? So that's what my first, I remember his name, family name, and his story till today.
That's very interesting. Many founders say that you should talk to your first users, especially personally, not put a marketing person to do that, not do that through an online survey, but actually talk to the people that use your product. Katerina, for you, it is a bit different. You are not building a consumer product. What I want you to share is how did you end up choosing this problem to solve, and what was the journey for you? How long did it take to research on this technology? Did you have previous connections with these researchers? Because I understand you're not doing it yourself. So how was it?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, well, I think it's a classical paradigm of university academia to business, science to business, because our technology was born in the Kyiv Polytechnic University, and our chief technical officer is actually the person who invented it and patented it, and has a number of patents in the scientific papers. However, he's not the person who would go and commercialize it. It's his baby, but well, he's a scientist, like a classical scientist, who is building and testing. And now, for instance, I have multiple databases. Yeah, I have like investor databases, partner databases, networking, partners, and I have the database of visuals of our test series. So like he's always there, hands-on, testing the prototypes. And we basically met in Kyiv, and we thought that, well, let's do it. Let's try to commercialize this technology, because the market is really ripening. As I've said, like there are two key technologies on the market. They've been on the market for decades, and this is a completely new method that allows us to resolve the key problems of the water tech. One being the CO2 emissions, two, the use of fossil fuels, and the third one is brine. So all of the three problems is something that we are resolving in our business as we grow and build our business. And I've mentioned the social impact. For me, this was the hook. So personally, for me, this was the hook, because I'm building the marketing strategy based on the social potential of that technology. And for instance, if you look at the water problems, not only in the European Union, but globally, you'll see that the biggest consumers of water are agriculture. Yeah, and municipalities. So in our go-to-market strategy, we don't target municipalities as phase one, because they don't have capital. Yeah, so we need to grow, we need to expand, and then we will be able to move to my, to my baby, the social impact, and really working with municipalities and agriculture to resolve their water problems. And if we talk about the realities, well, for us, it's a hardware. So I experienced it physically when we had to move it through the border from Ukraine. it's hard, it's really heavy. So we had to move it because when we established in Poland, we already from day one had an investor on board who believed in our technology, but also, with the war, unfortunately, and the war reality, we come with a number of risks. And some of these risks are affiliated with the assets. And our assets were in Kyiv in the research and development workshop. So we had to establish a research and development center in Poland, in Warsaw, and move our assets from Ukraine to Poland. Part of our team, we are 9 people now, part of our team is still working in Ukraine. However, they travel frequently because we are building prototypes. We're the 3rd prototype now.
Thank you. That's very interesting how you found each other, these scientists from the university and the marketing and business people. Actually, who sold to whom? How was it? Did you recruit him or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
because he was absolutely fine as he's in his lab, very comfortable. But it's, you wouldn't believe. In Ukraine, and I'm sure in Moldova is the same, the legacy through the research institutions that exist in our countries is enormous. So for instance, last time I was in Kyiv, I went to the Institute of Colloid Chemistry, and I was amazed. I was like, I see hundreds of solutions already that can solve hundreds of world problems. So I think that the potential is there. It's just a matter of building these partnerships and building and finding the right people and convincing them to go commercial.
Yes, that's very good advice, actually. Maybe there is people in the room that have some simple ideas, and there are researchers with products which have a potential to be a global solution to a global problem, but these people don't talk to each other. So maybe that's one way to start. And let's now explore a little bit the power of connection and the importance of connections. From your personal journeys, can you share some examples of the connections that you formed and the impact that they had on your success?
Shall I just finish?
Anyone who volunteers to start?
Very quickly, I'll just finish. It kind of logical builds on the previous response. I'll just give you an example. And Ionela is here, and Julian's here, Charles is here. They represent the EU for Innovation East project, who, with expertise France, who actually opened the door for us to the French ecosystem and French market. So we are now meeting with the global industry leaders and presenting our technology and building partnerships, not because we are selling aggressively, but because we've been already there in France and the warm introductions were made for us. And this is really priceless. It's really important. If you can do it, I absolutely agree with you. Ecosystems will not do your job. Accelerators are no magic. But there are these openings, and if you're proactive and creative, I think that even without aggressively selling, losing time, you can meet with industry leaders, and you never know. You just show up to every appointment, and you never know who works, what comes out of it. But I'm really hopeful.
The only thing I'll add is just the randomness. You never know in event or kind of the chain of connections that you might get. For example, in San Francisco, where I'm based off, we have hundreds of different events every week. And I have to unfortunately choose which one to go to, and it's always difficult. And sometimes, as a founder, you have to prioritize and say, okay, is it worth it for me to go to this event? Because if I'm doing this, means I'm not doing something else, right? And you never know what output the event is going to give it to you. For example, I went to event. I met this wonderful person. I met her, unfortunately, we didn't have time to connect on LinkedIn, etc. So next event, I met her again. And she then connected to another person. And that person then connected me to another person, to one of the largest investors globally. And now, that investor wants to, lead the Series A and all these things. So when I look at the chains of events that happen and that one event that I decide, okay, I'm going to go to,
I don't think like all the connection, maybe it could have happened, maybe not, but I know that that's how it led to. So my advice today would be talk to as many people as you can. There is nothing that you'll be losing from this networking.
Thank you. Vladimir, can you continue on that?
I will speak not about the connections, but maybe about the trust, because our business, our story on the user side is not so funny, but our story on the partner side is very funny. Like, just imagine the police officers and the security guys that are doing it for 30 years, and then some young guys come up with an app and saying that from now on we'll see your location of your crew, of your clients, and they're like, so yeah, we need to build trust, and as a tech we can connect all country in 24 hours. Different types of connections, but okay, in 24 hours around we can connect all country with the police, with all security companies, like five in every city. So we're very developed on that side. But one country we connected more than 1 year, spending 99% just on negotiating the contract, not the signing the contract, just negotiating the contract, and then connecting them in 15 minutes technically.
Wow.
So it's like, it's a trust and network, and like you need to prove that you really can deliver and you are trustable with all that situation in our countries. You know, like when I'm speaking and I have a Russian accent, like they see always, and in Kazakhstan they're saying that we're from west. In Romania they're saying that we're from east. And when I'm speaking with Russian accent, I think they're seeing Vladimir Putin that went from English courses, because I can't even think of another reason for that. But yes, trust is, like, this is our COO, and she's like really every day is experiencing that thing. Yeah. Thank you.
That's a good one. That's a good one. She's covering for you from time to time. We have very short time left, and I would like us to leave the stage with one last piece of advice for the audience, for the aspiring founders, for the founders that have already started working on their product. For students, I see some young faces, and I'm sorry that I'm looking like this. The light is a little bit weird. So, one last advice, very short, 30 seconds from each of you.
I would say go for it. Do not wait for perfection. Do not wait for perfect timing. You don't have to be a business person. You don't have to be anything. Just start. There will be nothing that you will be losing. You will be learning a lot. So just go ahead.
Well, you probably heard many times that so many VCs and companies and even the European Innovation Council are looking for unicorns. Not all of us will become unicorns, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the ambition. So my advice is to have that ambition and to show, because it will pay back.
Go for it. Yeah, don't waste time. And the most ridiculous mistake are being made with most serious faces. So, like, go for it.
With a smile.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I would advise that in the beginning be doers, get experience, get knowledge, and then become bosses. And also remember that time is ticking.
And from me, just 2 words, stay curious. This is very important. We're born curious and we lose it at some moment in time. I think school has something to do with that. But we should go back to our childhood and remember how curious we were, and it can get us in very interesting places if we stay curious. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you again for the warm introduction.